What's up, guys? It's Tyler here, and today I'm bringing you another map guide video. So I just showed gameplay on Oasis where I analyzed my gameplay. So that's actually not what I'm going to be doing here. In here, instead, I'm going to be talking about how the map works and the best way to utilize it for your advantage. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's jump right into it. So first thing here, this first point on Oasis revolves a lot around the high ground on the right. You got the jump pad, and it's the only point you can really rain down in the middle. The middle point is huge, as you can see, and there's not a lot of cover, so it's really important to take the high ground. You can use the jump pad to get everyone up there really effectively, and that's really what you want to do, because if you get on the high ground, you can rain damage down, they can't contest you quite as well, and it's really important on this point because there's not a lot of cover. I used to actually really hate this map, but I realized through playing it more and just analyzing the map and like where the best parts are, if you can do that and take the high ground, it can net you a lot more wins. And as you see here, we are behind because we lost the initial high ground battle, but a little bit of spoiler, we will come back in this game because of some high ground usage and just some better usage in general as a team. But anyways, the middle point is the thing. There's not a lot of cover. It's a huge circle, and that's why I was talking about the high ground being so good. But you can basically just jump across this. You can run across this. There's a lot of line of sight for good DPS play. So you want to really get in control of it. The middle thing is also kind of weird because it is cover, and a lot of people will duck in there to cover. But that's what makes, this map really difficult to play, is because people are jockeying between the high ground and on the point. They're jockeying between cover, and it's a huge point, and since there is that cover, it's hard to get a lot of picks, and if you don't get picks, you can't always take the point reliably. So sometimes it can be really difficult, and that's what was really started with me, is it's hard to get all the picks because people are constantly running around a circle that you can't always see around. But the best thing to do to take this point is just to have your whole team get on it and come from one side. We all did, in this game, we all went left on that little circle, and obviously after taking the high ground, you should be able to get a couple picks. And that's the thing, because if you can get a couple picks, it's a little bit easier to go in there and to just clean up and grab the point. But basically, besides using the middle as cover and using the high ground, it's pretty much just a straight thing. Teams are going to typically come from the middle. There's a little choke on the right, but teams will typically come from the middle. And you just got to get wipes. But the thing is, as I've been saying, the point is so big at this point. This map is so big. It's so tough to wipe the whole team that this map's, a lot of it can be done is simple, just good positioning on the point. And again, on the high ground or in the little hut and just staying alive. And that's really what I can't stress enough about this point on Oasis. You need to just have good positioning, and you need to be wary of where the enemy team is, because if they can't kill you fast enough, you can keep the point, and that's the best thing. But if you can kill them fast enough, you will take the point. I can't stress that one enough. Of everything I can stress, that's probably the most obvious thing on this point. Is again, using the high ground is the good positioning, using the middle to kind of go across the point and maneuver is really good positioning. And if you just do that and you stay with your team, you won't die as much. And if they can't kill you, they can't take the point. And that's something that happened in this game. Is it took us over 75% to grab the point. But then, even though we actually had gotten wiped, we had a nice res, obviously, to help us. But they weren't able to get more than 2 frags on us before like we could get back into the fight. I mean, granted, because of the res, but yeah, that was good play. But basically, the same thing happened. We just used the point, we jumped all around it, we spread out, and they didn't take the high ground to get easy frags on us, and it resulted in us winning this. So this hopefully shows exactly what you want to do there to put everything into action. And yeah, that's the first point, good positioning and using everything to jockey around. So let's skip ahead to the second one. Okay, so this second point, I'm not sure which one is this. We actually, I'm going to show the rounds we won in this game instead of the rounds we lost because it's a little bit better gameplay. But the second point is really simple. There's a lot going on here. It's pretty massive map here. But the right has a nice area of just kind of a health pack room, and it's kind of where it looks slightly down onto the point. As you can see from stairs, on the right side of it, it looks slightly down. But really the main area is the left side, which is elevated above that. And there used to be a glitch where you could actually contest the point from the upside, but they did take that out. But essentially, that's kind of where you want to be on this map, is you want to be on the high ground. Again, I'm going to say that a lot. But the thing about this point is it plays similarly. It's difficult because there's a middle thing in the middle, and you don't have like, there's a middle pillar, and you can't always see the enemy team. But a lot of teams, as you do, instead of going through their little rooms on each side, they go around the right, because they're a lot better line of sights. And the thing is, better line of sight is a similar thing, and you want to go around there. You don't want to go through the people, and that's something I used to make a mistake on. And the reason you don't go through the rooms is because it puts a choke, and you can't always see where the other team's going. Is you want to avoid going through a tight choke, and instead going around the right. There's a health pack. You have a lot of line of sight. You can get some long range frags, and that's really important. And when you're holding the point, it's a lot easier if they go through a choke, because you can just fire into one room. You will see that in this gameplay. But going around the right is really effective. Also, if you're on defense, because you can just poke away at them, which is really helpful. But yeah, but that's the main thing, is you want to be able to get the high ground, because you can poke away at them. If you're not on the high ground, it's not as easy to poke away at them. And that's something that's really important, is when you're defending these points, you want to make sure you're in a good point to like get frags, because if you can get frags, it slows their push down. And if you're attacking, you want to make sure you're in a point where you're not going to be getting fragged. So obviously taking the high ground is really important here. But the second thing that's important is you want to make sure you spread out a little bit on the point, because if you cluster up on the point, you're really prone to ults. But this point has a middle thing, so you can poke away at different angles on teams. And the same thing being, if you, as the first point, you need to kill them quickly, which means you need to jump down and get the edge on them, and you need to kill them quickly, which means you sometimes need to circle them, back them into a corner after a frag, something like that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to like go to one half of the point and just play like a poke battle on the point where nothing gets done, because all that does is favor the team that's on the point. Instead, you want to jump on the point quickly, and you want to try to get the high ground, and you want to jump down, and you want to catch them from different angles. That's the biggest thing I can say about the large points that have like something in the middle, or like the same thing on Nepal. There's something in the middle on that point with the shrine. And what you want to do is you want to catch them from different angles, because if you catch them from different angles, you will wipe them. And you want to pick the angle that is slightly not as low ground. I have it on Nepal, and same thing here. If they had gone through these chokes or something in these side rooms, they would be going onto a little low ground, and they just wouldn't be able to contest with us just firing into the choke relentlessly. So that's the biggest thing, and that I can say about this is you want to just take advantage of different angles, because if you come in from the same angle, you can't get the wipes fast enough. And that's the same as these first 2 points here, and that's why we've won. So hopefully high ground and different angles, and we'll jump onto the third point, because it is the most unique on Oasis. Okay, so as I was saying, this point is the most unique, and that's pretty straightforward. It's got the environmental kill factor here on the left. You can get booped off really easily. In fact, that was play of the game, and from the first round we lost. But this high ground is a really tricky spot. It's really good to take, yes, of course, but the high ground on the left is dangerous to be on, because you can get booped off. There's not cover. You can get picked really easily trying to take it. In my personal opinion, the best way to go about this is to just kind of go as a team and get on the point kind of from either the left or the right. Or excuse me, the right side, or the middle, excuse me, on that one. Because yes, it's a choke, but there's a lot of area to spread out into, and if you go from the high ground, you're likely to get picked going up there. But from the right or something, as long as you don't get hooked, you can actually surprise them, and you can come in from 2 separate little corridor angles, which is really helpful, and you can get right to the point. No sniffing around, no chance of getting picked on the side. You just get on the point, and you move in, and you get the frags you need to. The other thing that's unique about this point is the hole in the middle, and you want to make sure not to fall. But again, this is actually unlike the other one, the other maps where there's like something in the middle that kind of protects you. The hole is actually a detriment to you. There's no cover on that point, and you can't really stand. You're very limited on where you can run and move because of the hole, and you don't want to fall down. So as a whole, this point is one that's really tough to stand on, and it typically results in people standing to either side for cover. And that's the best way I can say to defend it. If you're standing on the point, what you want to be doing is you want to be standing either in the left or right rooms, because it adds cover. If you're defending it, you want to stay on the high ground, but you want to know that if they're putting pressure on it, you don't want to get picked on the high ground because there's no cover there. The best way to explain this map around the point would be no cover. So essentially, if you want to win a little bit more often here, you would stay to each side. You would try to get some picks while they're running through the point, because realistically, they're going to be running kind of through the hallway on each side, like in the front. and you just want to make sure you can try to get the frags, but you don't want to get fragged because there's no cover, and you need to, and that's what makes this point so awkward, is there's just no cover, and playing as a team is the best way to do that. But you just need to be really aware of your positioning here, and that's the biggest thing. I said that about a couple points, but positioning. This point is easy to get frags on because there's no cover, unlike the other two. So this one will change hands quite a bit. And you also need to make sure that as a team you decide to go through the same way. You need to make sure you're responding to what they're giving you, and you need to make sure you're trying to get frags in the right places. There's no point in overextending, and there's no point in throwing your life away. Because this point, obviously, it's so easy to get wipes that one push might not be enough. And as you can see already in this game, there's been several overtakes to the point. I think it's changed hands 3 times, and it's going to change a 4th if we take it back. So again, right there, beautiful demonstration of just how easy this point is to actually get wipes and stuff and kills on. So you want to pick the side corridors, and you want to go as a team because there's no cover, but coming in from the side angles will get you that cover you need. And the high ground, while it is useful, I do warn caution because, again, I thought high ground was like, obviously high ground is insanely important, don't get me wrong, but when I first played this map I thought, oh, high ground, I'll take that. But you get picked so often over there because there's environmental kills. It's not always the best. It's just the same thing on Lijiang Tower, how going across the bridge gives you a little more open area to fire onto the point, but Farah can pick you off really easily, or Lucio. And that's the thing, you need to be wary of high ground sucking you in by the fact that environmental kills and no cover could really lose you the fight again. And in fact, that's actually why the enemy team did lose the fight, because they got picked near the end of the game on the high ground. And because we did win that, it actually set up an ult for me playing Reaper, which in the other video I talked more about, and you saw it on screen here, or you'll see it on screen here. So basically, using all the cover, using the angles, using what the enemy team gives you, because if they're going and not trying to contest the high ground, or they don't have heroes that can pick you on the high ground, you can use it. But if they do have heroes, you want to use a different way where you can cover yourself more and get on the point. Because if you can kill them quickly on the point, you will take this point and you will win. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this Oasis map. It is the newest in the game. It can be tricky at first, like I said, but if you use what the map's giving you, you analyze it, you can use this video with a lot of tips. And you can, if you play as a team and coordinate the way you want to go, there's a lot of intricacies on Oasis that make it a really fun map, and a map that can get you a lot of wins just by like the dynamics of it. So I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.